told you. I'm a hot fucking mess.
Hey, y'all, welcome back to Who Knows Best, the podcast where we dive into the world of Scentsy Consulting and share the secrets to thriving in this amazing business. I'm Cassie Bollinger. Today, we're talking about a topic that's at the heart of any successful Scentsy business, team building and leadership. We'll be diving into the importance of building and leading a strong team, sharing tips on recruiting, training, supporting your team members to help them achieve their goals. So grab your favorite Scentsy scent and get comfortable because today's episode is all about empowering your team and leading them to success. But first, let's meet our fabulous co-hosts who will be sharing their insights, experiences with us today. Y'all go ahead and introduce yourselves.
I'm Jacqui Duran, and I grabbed my favorite scent right now, Honeycrisp Harvest.
Woo!
And I'm Robin Hatfield, and I actually just changed the wax in my office today to welcome home. Feeling all the fall vibes right now.
I did some cranberry or mango cranberry.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But it's still kind of a folly, even though it was in the spring. Like it really was. I really love it. Okay, so building a team and recruiting and sponsoring and just getting someone to sign up. Like there's so many different ways that everybody looks at it. And like the join my team thing is really overdone. You know, like just join my team. Sometimes just saying that you kind of like partnerships or, you know, we talk about all these things, but just getting someone to sign up doesn't really help your business if you don't do something with them or guide them to hit whatever goals that they're wanting. So we're just going to kind of break it down. I think, Jacqui, you're going to start us off. So just first, how are you recruiting? Are you doing something intentionally? Are you working on, like, just kind of break it down a little bit just on how you're recruiting? We'll go around that one and then we'll go to the next part.
All right. So for me, I stay away from the word recruiting. I just don't like it. It just doesn't make me feel happy. So sponsoring is kind of what I call mine. So I will say that for me personally in my business, I will have those one-on-one conversations with people who have expressed interest or even people who have been my customers for a while and I know how much they love Scentsy. I'm always dropping those little, you could join and get paid back just for getting the Scentsy that you're already ordering, right? So I do have those conversations, but I will say for the most part, I don't really have like set conversations, but what I have found to help me in sponsoring has been, because the majority of my business is done online through social media, really just sharing behind the scenes of what I'm doing. Because kind of like, and I know that we've touched on it here or there, but I know I've seen it in other trainings, right? Like if you do a home party, right? They always say, don't bring the 8 suitcases because then people are like, whoa, there's no way I'll ever do that kind of a thing. I could never be a consultant if that's what you have to do. And I like to try and do that on my social media too. So whenever I'm making samples, I'm sharing like, here's how I'm working my business today, right? I'm making samples. This is my business. Like this is how I do it. When I'm doing mail outs, when I'm creating happy mail, like things like that. Those are just little things that I'm sharing. And what that allows me to do is really kind of reach those people who maybe we have or haven't ever even had a conversation or even talked to about it, or I've never even asked them before. But they're seeing, oh, this is how she works her business. Oh, I get it. Oh, okay. Well, that is something I can do, right? So it makes it really more user friendly, if that makes sense at all. So for me, it's really about sharing just behind the scenes of what I'm doing and how I work my business, every week, because I work my business almost every single day of the week. And so I'm just trying to share what I do, and that kind of works for me.
So basically keeping it simple and then showing them that it's duplicatable. So
Yeah.
that way it's something real easy, real simple steps. That's awesome because I forget to do the behind the scenes. I forget sometimes of like I did do my little post of the testers, sorting the testers, but it was after it was all off my bed. Like my bed was covered. But I forget that until the last minute and I'm like, well, I'm picture. Something is better than nothing. You know, it's
Yes.
better to be done than perfect. I just took a picture of them already done, told them what I was doing. So I
Yeah.
love that. I love that. So, and Robin, so same thing, just kind of like, you know, how are you recruiting? How have you like found your last couple of different people who have signed up with you?
Okay, so I'm going to actually take a different approach, which I did actually mark down that I do need to share the behind the scenes. Cause like you said, Texas, I forget about that. Like I'm not thinking about like, I don't know. I guess I just don't think people want to see that. And then the way Jacqui said it, I was like, oh, well, I was wrong. So
When she said that it's got to be gold, you know?
right. So my approach on sponsoring or partnerships or whatever you want to call it, I just simply share my life. So a lot of people know I'm a stay-at-home mom. I've been a stay-at-home mom for my whole Scentsy journey. So almost 8 years I've been a stay-at-home mom. Um, a lot of people know I was going to college and I decided not to go to. Okay, let me back up. I was going to be a nurse. So a lot of people know that that's what I was pursuing. And then I started Scentsy and didn't go to nursing school. And, here I am. And so what I do, since I've been a stay-at-home mom, especially with Kinsley, I was able to nurse her for 7 months. I have 4 other kids. I've never been able to nurse them because I had to go to work. So when I was going through that breastfeeding journey, I shared that online because for me, that was huge. And that could be huge for another mom who wants to make some sort of income to help her husband, or maybe she's a single mom and doesn't have a spouse and needs another source of income. I want to be that relatable mom to other moms because that's what I am. I'm a mom of 5. My life is busy. My oldest plays baseball. I share that. I am able to get my son to his baseball games or his practices. Liam's going to be starting hockey. I can do all that because of this business. And so that's what I share online because I want people to see that it can be that vehicle for you to do more than just go to work and come home and miss out on everything with your kids. And I'm not saying like you need to quit your full-time job to do Scentsy because obviously that's not the case. Maybe you just want a side hustle. That's what we're sharing. Or I guess I should say because I'm talking about me. And so that's what I'm sharing. And I'm just trying to be 100% relatable to those who are following me on social media because that's primarily where I work. And I'm pretty open on there. So I get pretty, I wouldn't say too personal, but I'm an open book because that's how you're going to relate to people. If you can't open up, then it's harder to relate to people, and sometimes even just empathizing with people can help as well because then you build that connection.
Yes.
And once somebody's connected to you and they like you, then you can open up the conversation about, hey, do you want to do what I do? For me, it works out better that way than just to say, join my team. Because people are like, nah, girl, I'll scroll right on past because there's nothing there to connect to.
Right.
Yeah.
It's only a select few, an itty bitty amount of people that's going to interest somebody. But for the majority of people, they need something to connect to you with. So that's how I lead with recruiting, sponsoring, partnerships, whatever.
Well, and I like what Jacqui said about like not really recruiting because then it's kind of like join my team recruiting. Everybody starts to automatically think something like cult wise. It's like, oh my gosh.
It reminds me of like an army recruiter or something, like
Yes.
nobody wants to do that.
And trust me, my husband will tell you an army recruiter will lie to you all day long to get you to sign on that dotted line because you don't ever read the fine print. And
and I'm not trying to do that. So exactly. Texas, you recently got 2 newbies, right?
I do. I got
Well, why don't you tell us how you did it?
So it was a lot of work. I'm telling you guys. No, okay. So one of my teamies has actually been a customer for 4 years. she's only bought maybe a handful of times. So I think like 5 times in 4 years. Her mom's my cousin, so she's like my second cousin. And she is very outgoing. She is not a lot on social media, but she's a talker. So she doesn't ever meet a stranger ever. I mean, anytime that we go anywhere. And it's just she just has that personality. And I've actually asked my cousin has 3 daughters, and I've actually asked all of them because they're all in that time of their life. They're just under 30. They're like trying to figure life out, and they've moved out from home, and they're all working. And I mean, because their mom's a hard worker. So it's kind of like I know that the work ethic is there. So if they're going to do it, and only because I've known them since before they were born, like I'm like, you would be great at this. But again, I still get told no. Well, when I changed up my business and I started the first part of August asking everybody to do parties for me, these Zoom parties, my cousin was like, sure, I'll do it. Let me get with the girls. So she coordinated with them, and I sent out a job form. And on that job form, it has listed of like, would you want to, how likely would you be to, or would you like more information? Are you likely to sign up to be a consultant? Or do you like fun and travel? I can't remember because I have a couple different job forms, but basically it was like a 0 to 10. I always do 0 to 10 because 0 means there is no interest. I hate a 1 because is that like little interest or, but if there's a 0 there, she put a 5. And so I was like, hey, we need to talk. And she's like, okay. And she's like, I'll call you. And then I got ghosted. Like, she didn't call. But so I messaged her like 2 or 3 days later. I was just like, I'm going to let it lie. Because her mom's party was coming up on Saturday. So on Wednesday night, we were able to finally get on the phone and we talked for a little bit. And I asked her, why do you want to do this? I was like, what would be like, what are you wanting to get out of this? Are you just wanting to get like half price or whatever? And then I just let her talk. And she's like, she moved into a new position. She's around a lot more people. And she's like, it's just the income's not cutting it. But I'm around a lot of people. Because she knows my struggle is I work from home, and during the summertime, I haven't been at school. So I'm talking to nobody except for who I'm reaching out to. She's like, I'm around a lot of people. And whenever I was asking people if they wanted to join my mom's Zoom party, there was a lot of interest with my friends. And so it clicked for her. So I was like, no, that's cool. I said, what we'll do is we'll do her party. I went ahead and changed her as the host and left the name the same. And I was like, we'll do her party and we'll flip it to you. She's like, no, I want the $99 kit. And I was like, okay. If you want to do the $99 kit, awesome. I wanted to double check. I called into home office and I asked them if I have the party under her name and we get orders and she decides to do the $99 kit, I can still flip it, correct? And they're like, yeah, not a problem. It just has to be in their name before they buy the $99 kit. I said, perfect. So I got everything set up. Well, she signed up. And then it was like, why am I doing the party? Like on my workstation. She signed up. She's got a workstation. So we created her launch party. We re-sent out the links to everybody. The party did great. We had 4 people that were on there, and the party was almost $300. And she left it open. So she did as an individual order because it's her launch party. She's trying to hit the 500 in 14 days.
Nice.
So for me, that one was somebody I've been working on for 4 years. So don't think that just because they say no once, that's it. And I'm never harassing like, you got to join, you got to join, you got to join, you got to join. Like I would love to be like, you want to join me? I'd love to be able to pull that off without people being like, she's crazy. But, it was always, I just kind of dropped it. I'm like, I'm just letting you know, just think about it. So it's that stewing. And then the second person, I don't know who she was. I don't know how she found me. I don't know. She signed up. Brand new, never been a consultant. So it was a new consultant. I sent her a message and she had responded. She's like, thank you so much. I'm just doing this to supplement my secondary job because she's also a realtor or which is it real estate? Which one is the, whatever the one license? I don't know. So she's a realtor and she wants to be able to put some stuff into the homes that she's showing.
Nice.
I love that.
So I'm like, well, that's awesome. I'm like, let me know what you need because I'm one now. I do not push unless they say, I want to get this goal. I want to do this. I'm like, look over the stuff. I'll check when we meet in a couple of days. So one I've been working on for 4 years, and the other one I have never met. I tried searching her on Facebook, and I don't know if she's like me, where my legal last name is not the name that shows up on my Facebook. But I don't know if it's that or whatever. So my recruiting, I will honestly say I have not personally recruited in over a year. It was August of last year is the last time I recruited anybody. Now I've had a couple of reinstatements since then, that like 2 or 3, and they've always hit the 200 to at least last for a year. But it was never a want to join. It was more or less as they reached out to me as like, hey, do you mind if I sign up underneath of you? And it was because of a social media post, or it was because some of them are still consultants in the groups. So they found me interesting.
You are interesting.
I am, man. I'll tell you what, my husband calls me special all the time. I'm so special. Okay, so that's kind of like the recruiting part. So after they're here, so after they've signed up, you get your email, or they've reached out and text messaged you. We'll kind of go back again, starting with Jacqui. So how do you do your onboarding? So onboarding, just to kind of, if some people don't know the terminology, is basically training. It is when you start any new job, onboarding is when they show you the ropes. They show you how to clock in and clock out. They show you how to, this is how you sign into your computer. This is how you, whatever job it is. But for Scentsy, our onboarding is kind of like making sure they can log into the workstation and kind of take them through steps, but we all do it a little bit different. So Jacqui, just kind of like, I'm brand new. I signed up underneath of you. What would you do for onboarding?
So the first thing that I do, the very first step in my onboarding system, is I send out a welcome email, because we get the email, congratulations, someone's joined your team. And I will say, kind of like Texas was talking about with her second person that signed up, look, the majority of people who sign up under me, I don't know. They've found me, whether it's on YouTube or whatever, and they've decided that they want to join, and they've picked me as their sponsor. So most of them, I don't know, or maybe I've seen their name like come up on social media, but I really don't know them. So it does kind of make it a little difficult in that, because I don't have a relationship to just jump on, right? Like I don't know anything about them. So the very first thing that I do is send out that welcome email. And so I've got my email that I send out, and I just save mine in boards. So, sorry, Hero's having a moment. Save mine
I was like, how did you
boards.
sneeze and continue to talk?
I'm special.
You could do like my husband says, oh, you're special. Like, that's, but I am just not short bus. Just,
Yeah.
Sorry. Go.
So I'll send out that email, and then in the email, I actually have, it's a jot form that I've created. And so I send a link to the jot form, and it is, how do you want to start your journey? How do you want to start your Scentsy journey? And it very much is driven so I can get to know them. So the questions in that are just very straightforward. It is, how did you find me? And then it will list out, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, saw my car out in the world, whatever it is, right? So they at least have to pick one of those things. So that way it kind of gives me an understanding of, oh, okay, they saw me on YouTube or something. And then it is this a hobby, or is this something that you want to make part-time or full-time income? What is this for you? And then it is, I think the next question is, how much money per month would make you excited to work this business? And so there's like I said, just straightforward, hard-hitting questions. And then I soften it a little bit, and it is, like what's your favorite fragrance family or something like that. Like I throw in something fun. And then, so that goes into the email. And then part of that email, of course, then is the links into my team group page and my YouTube, so I want to make sure they've got the links to all of my resources, right? Because that's the main thing. Like you said, in onboarding, right? We want them to know where everything is located. I want to give them a centralized template of what to go back to. And then part of that email also includes, because I am a Jotform user, Jotform has the forms, and then they have an app that you can create in Jotform. And so I have an app, and in that app, it literally breaks down. So I've got links again to just getting started. And so I connect all of my different YouTubes that I have of, how to put in a party order on your workstation, how to use or close out a party with the host rewards. Then it is, how to create a VIP group. And then it goes more into, the creative side. How do you print labels for samples? How do you make samples? And so it literally kind of gives it like 3 different categories. So again, it's just a resource that they can keep. The Jotform app is great because they can actually save it, whether it's Droid or Apple, they can save it on their home screen to their phone. So I try and make it very user friendly for them.
You're
And
outnumbered right now because we have
yeah,
2 Droid users on here and only one
I
iPhone.
know,
So be
I know.
careful.
It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. I mean, one of us can be right, others can be
Oh.
wrong. It's okay.
Oh,
It's perfectly fine. But that's honestly, that's how my onboarding starts. And so I'm able to, as a sponsor, right, as a leader, hopefully, now not everybody answers that. Let me tell you, let me just preface it with that, right? Not everybody will fill out that job form that tells me, do you want to get started quick? Is this just a hobby? Are you wanting to go at your own pace? And so if they answer it, that really gives me the foresight to really know, how am I working with them, right? Like, are they somebody who they just want to kind of put in an order here and there? They're not really into it, but it's fine. Or are they somebody who is like, no, I want to hit the ground running. I want to get sensational start. I want to do shooting star. Like, put me in, coach. I am ready. And so those are the people that I'm reaching out to, obviously more frequently. The ones who are more of a hobbyist, I'm just trying to make sure they're getting into the group, if nothing else, the group page on Facebook, and then just starting those relationships. So that's really how my onboarding goes. I used to be a lot heavy handed with my onboarding because I used to do, like, I would send out texts, once a week, and here's this and here's that and all the things. And I just found that my team members, even the ones who were really like ready to go, it just wasn't working for them. And so I kind of backed off from that and just did more of a, here you go, let me know, reach out. And then I still do, about once a month, I will reach out and just do a quick little touch base of an email, right? Like, how are things going? What can I help you with? What are you struggling with? What are your wins right now? And for somebody who's just starting out, it's putting in that very first order, right? It could be a $25 order that they put in. They're like, oh my gosh, I got my first order. And
yeah.
that's a big moment, right? So I like to celebrate all those little victories as they get started.
Well, and that was going to be one of my questions was like, how many people are you doing this with? And everybody does this, right? Everybody fills out everything. Everybody's really gung ho because I think that's somewhat of our misconception of when people sponsor, and you will have many people that will sponsor 5, 6, 10 people a month, but it doesn't necessarily mean that all 10 of those people are going to be rock stars. It's just, it is, everybody joins this for different reasons, and you don't expect a rock star out of someone who's like, I just place orders twice a year and I just wanted to get my money back. You're not going to push them like you, or give them as much information as someone who's like, all right, I already got 15 for my first 15 orders and I'm putting them in. Now, how do I do this? And I need to do this. And I'm doing a home party. And you're like, the someone who's asking the questions,
Yeah.
that's when you kind of like, as a consultant, we kind of put into high gear of like, oh my gosh, they're asking that, like, how to do stuff. Like, I think I mean, like, I get really excited because they're like, they asked me my opinion. I'm so excited.
I think a lot of that comes from my personal journey too, because when I joined, it was not to, hey, I'm here to work a business. I'm here to, I want to promote. I want to hit shooting star. For me, it took like a whole year. Like, I wasn't in it for anything like that. I loved the Scentsy product. And back then it was more just wax and warmers than anything.
I mean, it
And
was a long,
it
long
was a
time ago.
long time ago. I am the elder. But But it really wasn't. Like I just wanted the community. I kind of just wanted to be involved in things and just kind of do it when I did it. And so I don't want to overwhelm somebody who is like me, right? Because that's how I was until I decided, you know what? I want to make some money here. So, okay, now how do I do it? Let's do it.
Right. Well, and then Robin, so basically kind of the same thing. So whenever they're signed up, either if you know them or not, what kind of onboarding do you have? I guess, do you have any special apps? Jacqui's doing primary email, which I don't do that. I never thought about doing the email, but hey, we all do our businesses a little bit different, and I may start implementing that. So what do you got, girl?
So I don't do email, I do texting. Now, I will say I am with Jacqui. I used to use this app called Project Broadcast, which you can basically automate your onboarding system, and it automatically sends them a text message on the schedule that you set. If you hear somebody in the background, it's freaking Kinsley. um, and
Just
so
make sure she's dressed.
yes, she does have clothes on.
Okay, sorry.
Yes, oh my gosh, she's got eye patches on, you guys, like eye thingies. Kiki, come here. You guys have to see
Okay,
this.
I
She's
have to
bougie
see
like
it now.
her mama.
Come here.
Look at her and her
Look,
little
she
Probably
self-care
has a whole
routine.
look. She's got bags under her eyes. She needs those. That's the cutest thing. It looks like she's got shiny blush on. Like if you didn't tell me that those were the eye patches, I would have thought that was just shiny blush.
Spa day on the
I
go.
love
Heck
it.
yeah.
Okay, anyways, let's get back to work. I saw that and I had to show you guys. Okay, so I used to use Project Broadcast to automate my onboarding system. And what I had found is that wasn't working. It was a little overwhelming for people to be getting those text messages every so often. It was a lot. It was a lot of text messaging. And so now what I do is I use my Canva. I'm a Canva Pro user. I love it. And you can create a website. And so I just have a nice scrolling website. And so when someone joins, obviously they get a welcome text, and I'm like, hey, so and so, welcome to Scentsy, because like I'm excited for them. Hopefully they're excited too. And I'll attach my little Canva scrolling website onboarding, like I don't know what you want to call it. And it has a little welcome with my image, and then the very next thing, it goes through how to announce your business. And so if somebody is going to be successful in this business, I feel like they're going to do a launch party right away. Now, if they don't want to do a launch party, they can go at their own pace. That's why I like sending this scrolling thing, because I'm not texting them like every day or every other day to basically hound them. That's what I felt like I was doing. I was hounding them to work their business, and not everybody wanted the same thing. And so I'm the opposite of Jacqui. When I joined, I immediately hit the ground running and wanted to work this as a business, because if I was going to spend $99 that we did not have, because we were broke, like so broke, it was awful. I at least wanted to make some money. And so I like grew a team right away. Like I was in it for the long run. And so sometimes I have to stop myself and like, Robin, not everybody is like you. Not everybody wants to be a runner. And so that's why I do like doing this scroll, because then it gets them that one text message. And then if they are going to do a launch party, obviously they're going to ask me for tips. So then I can put my focus into those people who really want it. Not that I don't focus on the other people. I just don't check in with them as often as a business builder. So that's how I do it.
Okay. Well, I mean, and again, when you guys listen to us on the podcast, we all run our business very different. We've all been in it for a different amount of time. We are all in different stages of our lives. And because I'm about to be an empty nester, and then Robin has, 5 kids at home. And then Jacqui's got older kids like I do, but then she also has a younger one who's just starting high school. So she's kind of at that back end of what I just finished.
And working on my second grandbaby.
Yes, yes.
Oh yes, that's right.
I always forget to mention yes, because my oldest, I guess our second oldest daughter she's got a grandbaby and they're working towards number 2. It hasn't happened yet, but they want a football team, so we're very excited until they get a girl. Then they said they're stopping. So I'm like, well, please
Brace
let it be the
yourself.
girl in 5 years. Like the 5th one, make it we want some boys. But so on mine, like I kind of have a mix between both of y'all. But I'm more like Robin on when I started my business. I only got the $20 kit, and this was 4 years ago. So they had the $20 join in May, and I borrowed that $20. Like that's how broke we were. It was during the pandemic. I had lost my job, so there was like no income coming in, and so when I started, I couldn't get information fast enough. I was sending messages to my upline asking questions, and she didn't know how to answer them. Like she was like, "Let me find out. Let me find out." I'm like, "Well, who are you asking? Can I ask them?" Because it was more or less is that the delay between her asking and then getting the response and getting it back to me was getting to the point where it was days. Like I'm instantaneous. Like I need that instantaneous satisfaction. I need to know now what I need to know because I have ADHD. So that dopamine high is going and I need to run with it while it's going good, because then when it's not, then I'm like, I'm done, and I didn't want Scentsy to be done. I did back in when I started, I had a whole thing. So I did project broadcast for like 5 seconds and then I didn't do it. Never really got into project broadcast because I don't send out template type messages to everybody. It's not the same because again, I had one that I've known since before she was born and the other one I've never met, and I wouldn't have sent them the same message.
Right.
So for me, I do more personalization, but I'm really good at my text message. And as an Android user, I can set up and schedule all of my messages that go out. And so if I wanted to do that, I can do basically my project broadcast. Basically, I'd moved it to boards and I could copy and paste and put those in and schedule them out so they could go out. And I used to do that. So like the first 15 days, they were getting a text message every day. Then after that, it was like every couple of days. Then it was like after about 30 days, then it was like every 5 days or so until their 70th day. And it was hard. And it wasn't even, I found someone else's information, someone else had shared one of their boards and I was copying, pasting and using theirs for a lot of it until I realized that I would never, if I needed information faster than what I would have been sending it out. And I just decided that instead of me telling them what they needed to do, I've kind of take a step back and be like, tell me what you're wanting. Tell me where can I meet you at? If you want help, I'm always available, but I need to kind of know, just tell me how far away you want me to be. I can be right next to you being like, woohoo, let's go, let's go, let's go. I can be in the next room or I can be on my own lane way over here. And then you just kind of whistle at me, yell at me and wave and I'm coming over it. So it has definitely changed in the 4 years because I am high impact. I am very excited. I am very much in your face until my dopamine runs down. And then I'm like, oh, I just need to breathe. I need to sleep and I need to think. And so I don't process as fast. So that's why I did do a similar thing of Canva. It's the landing page, which is the website. I have done the Jotform app, but I had most of that for my customers because I used to be really big on let's create a landing page over here and connect it over to the Jotform app. And then I can do it over here. And then I can do this and pull all these links in one spot. And then Canva kind of came out with their same thing of a landing page website that encompasses everything. And so I've done that. So I send it out and it does. It's like, if you want to do like, here's the fast track and it leads them to my boards that they can look at and go through it at their own pace. Then I also have, here's my websites and my YouTube and my stuff here. Here's my trainings. And then I'm like, and then here's the stuff off the workstation. So like Jacqui said, some of the videos I've done myself on YouTube, but it's private. Like you have to have the link to be able to watch the video. And I walked people through one-on-one, basically doing a screen sharing from Zoom of where to go and how to get where you need to go. Of course, I finally got all of them done, and they changed the workstation. So the whole setup isn't even right anymore, and I really need to update that. It's been a couple of years. But that's, utilizing the different apps is definitely something to look into, a system or something that's systematic that you can follow through with. I think one thing that boils down to what all of us are saying is that you need to find something that works for you.
Yes.
No matter on recruiting, there is not a one-stop shop way to recruit, way to sponsor, way to mentor, and a way to help teamies. And we can all say that I've never trained or helped anybody the same way ever, and any of the teamies that I've done.
Well, and I think for me too, because and Robin has been doing it longer as well. Like I've changed because I would always like, oh, look what so and so is doing over here. It's something shiny. And then I'd learn
Yep.
that little program and I'd do that for a while. And then I was like, well, this doesn't work for me. And then I'd try this little program over here because it looks shiny. And finally I was like, okay, I have got to just I've got to just take out all the shiny stuff and I have to just stick with what works for me. And so yeah, I mean, you find your groove, you find your lane, and I think once you do, then that makes it a lot easier because I jumped back and forth all the time and I was forever changing how I was onboarding and training and all of the
Yes, it
things.
was
I was
hard
like,
to follow
yeah,
sometimes.
if I'm confused, then they're confused, right? So yeah, it was a mess.
Well, and the best part about the way that we've collabed, because Jacqui and I have been collabing now for over 3 years. And like Robin came in at a little over 2. So Jacqui, every time Jacqui found a new system or like, ooh, look, we're using boards. Ooh, look, we're using Trello. Ooh, look, we're using this. I'd be like, okay, there's a whole new app I got to learn to do. And I'm like looking up YouTube videos, I'm asking questions, and I finally learn it. And then she's like, oh, but now I'm over here and I'm doing this. It was, what was it, Scent Share or something? Like there was something else we did for scheduling other things. Like,
Oh, scent share. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
so we've really, and that's like the best part about our business. And which is funny because when I started adding it to a resume, someone was like, what, do they train you? And I'm like, no, I trained myself how to do all these different apps because this does relate to other jobs. This
Hmm.
does relate if you're special, like I'm a full-time student. I utilize everything I use in my Scentsy business for school. Like
Hmm.
I have so many different systems. I can show people how to do different things, but it's honestly just sharing what we can with who wants to know.
Uh-huh.
And I guess that kind of goes, was that you, Jacqui?
No, it was my Siri. For some reason, she got
Tell
triggered.
her that she is not invited to this
Calm
podcast.
down,
She needs
ma'am.
to have
Calm
a
down.
request. But, so it kind of boils back to I lost my train of thought. She really kind of threw me there.
Damn it,
Um
Siri.
Hold on, I got to remember what we're talking about now. So recruiting support. Okay, so supporting your team members.
Um,
It goes back through is oh, I had this really great train of thought. Siri really screwed that up.
Were you talking about
Um
how you're a full-time student and you use these
these
apps within your student or within your schedule or your
Yeah.
schooling?
And so yeah, I've lost it. So we're just going to go back. So we're talking about empowering our team, leading our team, and, just kind of figuring out what, like, I guess we need to do. So they've gone along. How often, Jacqui kind of said how often she reaches out to people who are kind of the hobbyists. I guess we can kind of break down full time as someone that is running a business. Like this is an income. This is they want to recruit. They want to have sales. They want to build something bigger. Part time is kind of doing that on a smaller scale. They're still wanting to work it. They're just maybe not pushing as much. Our hobbyist is ones that are going to do it maybe, once a month, maybe only twice or 3 times a catalog season. And then we have our kidnappers, which I've had so many different kidnappers, and they're literally, they just get the kit and run. And there's been quite a few people that you can watch stories on YouTube about how they were a kidnapper and then they came back and they ran this as a full service business and pushed through. So,
yeah.
what would be some tips or suggestions or maybe some mindsets that people or consultants need to have when they are ready to start recruiting? Because this is sometimes it's easy. You know, you get started, you're excited, you tell everybody you're a consultant and someone else wants to do it with you, and that's awesome. But then you have people that they want to recruit, but they're like, nobody's joining. What would be your advice, or do you have a system for that yet? Or what would you say to a somewhat new, or maybe new to start their business
You know
consultant?
what I ask them? It's very simple. Would you want to join you? Like,
Ooh.
Ooh.
honestly, because
Oh,
people who join this business, like I said, it stems back to relationships. It stems back to how you're sharing yourself on social media. If you're negative all the time, do you think somebody wants to join you? Maybe the negative Nellies, but that's not who I want on my team.
I
So
never thought of that.
would you want to join you? Like, are you appealing online if that's where you're working your business? If I scroll your social media, am I going to be bored, or am I going to connect with something?
Yeah.
That's a
I love
And
that.
that brings up another good point of the negative Nellies. So we'll circle back to that. So Jacqui, what do you do when someone is messaging you saying, I'm trying, but nothing's working?
It is just you just keep doing what you're doing. I mean, honestly, and I talked to you guys and shared that, you know, like I didn't really start that. I didn't start the ground running like either of you, right? Took me about a year, but I will tell you within the first week of me joining Scentsy, I had 3 team members who joined me. They were friends who I'd worked, they were coworkers at the time. Um, and I automatically had a team. And I was like, well, I'm not even really doing
See,
anything.
and I think that's where a good upline comes into play too. So it's also important to look at the person that you're joining. Is that person really going to help you with
Mhm,
your business?
mhm,
Because I tell my newbies, like, don't be afraid to sponsor, because that's what I'm here for. I am here to show
exactly.
you how to lead these people. And obviously, you're not going to know how to do it right from the get go. Nobody does, you
Right.
know? And that's why, and I'll share my scrolling thing with their teamie. I'll let their teamie know, like, hey, I'm your star director, aka upline support. I'm here to help you. Let me know
Mhm.
what you need.
I agree. And so my advice is to everybody, is start recruiting from day one. I mean, it doesn't you don't have to know everything because you hopefully and not I mean, I didn't have still don't have a great relationship with my sponsor. Okay. So but your upline is there, right? And so and then we've got this community that we've I mean all within Scentsy, right? Like so even if you take out the group aspect of it, you can hop on YouTube right now and you can find some people who you can connect with. I guarantee you, right?
Oh, yes.
So I know that that's where I took the majority of my lead from. And so when people were joining me and I wasn't even really working it as a business, I mean, I stayed up with what was going on because I just loved the product and it excited me and it was something fun. But I still was like, hey, we're just doing this together. We're going to figure this out together, right? So let's just jump in and let's just do it. And so I continue that to this day where it is, you know, let's just here's your resources. Here's what I'm able to give you, but I don't want to discourage you from for whatever reason if you don't connect with me, if you don't find me inspiring or what I do just doesn't resonate with you, then by all means,
Find somebody.
here, let's find, yeah, here's some other videos that have inspired me. Maybe they'll help you. Here's a great training on the workstation from a Tuesday training, all consultant call. Like that one was amazing, right? Like there's a whole community of Scentsy out there that, and I don't know about the other MLMs or the other direct sell companies because I don't care to know. I don't need to know. But all I know is the community and the people that we have within Scentsy that yeah, you're probably going to find a bad apple here or there, but for the most part, the people within Scentsy, there are so many out there who want to help you regardless if you're on their team, on their group, in their upline, downline, whatever, right? They're there sharing. And so if you want to find that information, you can find that information.
Well, and I
Well,
also think that as a leader, you need to be willing to let your downline go and experience other people throughout Cincy, because
yes.
it was and without, I'm not going to go into the big details of what my full experience was, but what I tell my teamies is that if you don't connect with me, and when I had my team separate, I would do a video probably about once or twice a catalog season of like, if I am not hitting you where you need on the training, let me know, like what topics do you need, what you would need me to explain more. But if my energy or the way that I run my business doesn't inspire you or motivate you or make you move, like, let's get moving, and you're like, oh, she's on again, that is when you just need to go look for help from someone else. And I have a lot of different leaders that I follow. There's so many that inspired me and helped me in the beginning that I still use today. I still follow them through YouTube and watch their trainings now, and I watched them 4 years ago. I mean, I stalked Jacqui, and I say that in the nicest way. I didn't like find where she lived and stalked her, but I followed everything that she posted on YouTube when I first started because I needed knowledge. I needed information, and I took it from multiple sources. And I overwhelmed myself because everybody I listened to, I tried to do everything. And it's like, how many plates can you hold at one time? Now, I was a server, man. I can tell you, I can hold 4 plates on one arm and 4 plates on the other. But I'll tell you this, doing that and running a business and trying to survive is not the best way to do it. And now I've realized,
Burnout.
yeah, the burnout is real. So now if I'm implementing anything new, like I'm doing the new Zoom parties, I'm really focused on that. I'm doing another aspect, which is a home party, but this party that I have set behind, this is the same thing I would do at a home party. The only difference is that I'm behind a computer and sitting, and then when I'm somewhere else, I will be standing. That's going to be the only thing. I'll be able to walk around and show them, like, they can actually touch and feel and smell. So I would just, if you're trying to find something that is connecting to you or someone, make sure that you kind of go through multiple videos and you check to make sure that is that personality of somebody, because they could be great in one video and then the next one you're like, why would you do that? Or like, I don't really like what she said, but then everything else is good. So there's only one video that didn't vibe with you, still be a good person to sign up with. But if one video is good and all the rest of them are not, look for another sponsor. And I hate to say it that way, but seriously, because
No, that's how it is. Like,
you need to research. If you are investing in your business and you are following someone's plan and they're going to be guiding you, and you hope and pray that they guide them like you want to be guided, you want to find someone who is basically on the same path. I did not do research on my sponsor.
I didn't either.
And we all had this weird experience of, what do I do now? And that's why, our collab group is amazing because we all do something different. So if my team is like, yeah, but I'm all on Instagram and you talk about all of Facebook, I'm like, hold on, let me get you with Jacqui Duran, because she's she's the Instagram queen and she does more on YouTube than what I do. Like, I'm still learning how to do all my playlists, and we're doing this podcast. But if they're like, I really want to learn XYZ, I have videos. I have so many videos saved, but I have like different groups of videos and they're different personalities. And that's one thing is I train, even if Jacqui did a training today on something, I could turn around and do the training on the same subject and people would hit 2 different spots or 3 different spots of something like, I like what Jacqui said about this and I like what Cassie said about this. Because, I'm fully at home. I have a little different range of what I can and can't do, but I also have to learn to stay focused. And then Jacqui always makes everything look so easy. She's just like, we're all like chaotically crazy off the side, but then it's like what Jacqui puts out is, aesthetically pleasing. Like, I love all of your graphics and I love all of your stuff. Like, I don't know. I think I fangirl on y'all more than anything else. Of like, if I had to pick now who I could sign up underneath, I would be like, I don't want to choose. I'm just staying where
I
I'm at.
know. Like, who would I pick? Because there's so many.
I know.
But yeah, I think it's important to make sure, if you're wanting to do this full time, to match up with the same energy as a sponsor. So that way you get the most out of your business and journey and experience.
But I agree with that 100%, but I will tell you, and I know Texas, and I know Robin can also agree with this too, right? Regardless, if you mesh with your sponsor or you do not, that is does not define your success in this
No.
business.
Yeah.
Does
Not at
not
all.
define it. You do not need your sponsor to be successful.
Well,
You
and
do
I
Correct.
can validate that because after the first 4 months, I hit director and it was pulling teeth to be able to get my upline to make a phone call to me
not.
because I needed that collabing. I needed that interaction with talking Scentsy with somebody else. And because I had nobody else. When
And
I
you
go
were
and
excited. You
I
were
was so
excited. You were ready
excited
to
and
go.
I
Yeah.
wanted to be like, hey, what do you think about this? And if I do this or I tried this, I needed someone to bounce ideas. I didn't really need training because I found my training on YouTube, but I needed someone to just be like, first, is this compliant? Is this something that I can do? Like, and if I can do it, like, do you have outside suggestions? Because as someone who with ADHD, I get tunnel vision and I go to the one shiny thing in that one corner and I don't see what's going on beside me. And so I need someone that has a different perspective to be like, have you thought about doing this? Or, you know, have you thought about doing this? And it's like, oh, I got to take my blinders off, Cass. I got to remind myself.
Yeah.
But it's honestly, this business can be so lucrative and so special and so amazing for so many different reasons. But it is something that you have to put an effort towards. Um, I can personally say, and I think everybody we can, is that we can't just sit back and do nothing. Like
No.
if all three of us just did nothing for a whole month, it would probably take us a year to get our business back to where it is now if we took off a whole month. Because I feel that if we stop posting, we stop messaging, we stop reacting to our customers, we stop everything. Like it's different whenever it's overwhelming and you can't send out happy mail, or it's like, okay, I missed, a couple of posts, but just stopping dead in your tracks and being like, I'm taking a complete break. It is harder to restart that business because now your customers and your teamies don't know if they can trust you to stay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So,
Yep.
and then I'm going to throw another hard topic at this because it's just on to me. What do you feel when someone is already or signing up, but this is they're currently still doing other direct sales, other ones, but they're wanting to get this one started off so they can be able to do both or three of them. I mean, because I've had some experience with it, but I mean, honestly, what is y'all's take on it?
At first, years ago, to me, it was an icky situation to be in, to be able to put your focus on multiple direct sales businesses. But I don't know, in today's world, like affiliate marketing and that kind of thing, like that's trending, You can share other products. I still think doing two direct sales business is difficult, but with the affiliate marketing side of things where you don't have to worry about team building, you're just sharing a product. If it's something that you actually use and you love, I'm okay with it. Now, if it interferes with your Scentsy business, and because you don't want to tiptoe the line of cross marketing and all that. That's a
Right.
whole nother thing. Then
So
that can
you're a
be a
little on the
sticky.
board. So you're kind of a little bit on the fence because it kind of depends on how else they're doing the secondary. Is that basically kind
Yes,
of okay? So
but I'm
Jack,
into the affiliate marketing. If that's a product you love and you use, like, tell me about it.
yeah,
I'm easily influenced.
I
yes.
sure am. I
Well,
sure am.
and Jacqui, how do you like? I don't know. Have you? I don't like I said. I can talk personally, but like how if someone came to you and like, hey, I'm also doing, and I'm not going to throw other companies' names out there,
Mhm.
but I'm also doing this, and so I wanted to pick this up as well. What would be like? How do you feel overall of someone trying to do two businesses at once?
It really is. It's a hard question, but it's a good question because we do see it a lot, right? Because um I know I've seen it with my team members, where they're like, "Oh, there's this new company over here. I'm gonna try this. I've got a friend who does this too. I'm gonna join this one too because it's free to join." Whatever. Here's the thing: you can only chase one rabbit at a time, and for me, I never did any other direct. Well, no, I take that back. I think I did Pampered Chef for like a whole 2 months, like probably 20 years ago. It did not last long. I was not good at it. I'm not a salesperson. I wasn't good at it. But even when Scentsy we started Velada. We had a new product line with Velada, which was the melting, like the
Of
fondue
cheeses.
pots. It was
Yeah.
cheese and chocolate.
And then there
And
was
then
another
we
one.
had Grace Adele, which
Yes.
was the purse line and accessories. And as a Scentsy consultant, right, we could choose to sign up for these different product lines. And so I immediately joined up for Velada because I'm a foodie, right? So I was like, oh, I'm all in. Let me join the Velada side too. And I was doing Velada. And I will tell you that I had the hardest time trying to just focus on wax and warmers and then cheese and chocolate. Like I couldn't do it. I was flustered and I was like, this isn't working. And then I tried to add Grace Adele and I did that right before Grace Adele ended. So I only did that for like a short time. And I was there after those left, like since he decided, okay, we're gonna stop Grace Adele, we're gonna stop Velada, we're gonna go back to wax and warmers. And I was like, oh, thank you, baby Jesus, because I cannot. I don't know. And maybe other people are successful in doing multiple things, companies more. I agree with Robin about the affiliate marketing. I mean, it's just the way the world works now. But there is no way I could personally do it. So my advice, if I had a team member who came to me and said, hey, I'm doing this too, and I want to run both, I'm passionate about both things, then you do you, boo. And I would highly suggest getting a planner and staying very focused and write everything down. And I hope you're very detailed because I consider myself very OCD and I'm a good planner. I can't do it. There's no way. I just can't.
Well, and that's kind of where I had multiple people who signed up in that first year of 2020 when I started. I had a lot of people sign up and they were doing the other ones because everybody was at home. So it was kind of like, I need to stay busy. I need something to do. But it's right. It's very hard to focus on two different avenues at the same time because of the cross promotion. That's where it really borders the line that you can talk. I mean, depending on what the other company's situation is, on what their rules are and guidelines. With Scentsy, we can't. If you've met people through Scentsy as Scentsy, you can't go and be like, "Hey, I'm also selling XYZ," because because that's cross promoting. That's taking your customers away from Scentsy. And for me, I thought about doing it, but I realized I can't put the same amount of heart into a secondary business. And honest, it's having like a side boyfriend. I was about to say something. A side boyfriend or
A
something like that.
sneaky link.
Yeah, it's like you can't focus on both. Because honestly, Scentsy a relationship, and I really do feel because this business isn't just a business with our community and with all of the stuff that we have, the people that we can collab with, the people we get to meet and learn from. I mean, we're all normal people, but when we get together, there is a sense of a real community. And it'd be really hard to pick up, like, to decide if maybe the secondary business their event was on the same day. How would you pick? Like, which one would you pick? And I've always told them, if you could only pick up one bag, which bag are you going to pick up? And that's what I've told them, because I would never tell someone that they can't do it, but I would tell them, just the rules. You can't cross promote. If you're doing an event, you can't be the person at both tables. You have to have a secondary person doing one or the other. So you can't be walking over here and then walking over here and trying to sell two different things. So you're doing a secondary business. Why? Now, if it was just to get the stuff, like, why not get money back? I get that part of it is like, hey, I'm also doing this because it's the money. Like, I'm already doing it anyways and spending the money. Why not at least get some money back? Because we talk about that with Scentsy all the time. Just signing up to basically have a discounted account that you get paid on whenever you purchase stuff. So it was just something that popped in my head because it's out there. Because I'm hyper focused on a lot of things and I can juggle quite a few, but I could not imagine trying to put the amount of effort I put into Scentsy into something else. It's just hard. So let's see. Is there any other things that y'all like? I guess well, maybe we can do with new teamies when they come up and they tell you when you're asking them. So we're talking to them about possibly signing up. And they do say what Jacqui said earlier, that she's not a salesperson. So what would you say to somebody that you are trying to recruit, or they're like, I'm not a salesperson, and I don't think I can do this business.
Who's going first? Me?
Whoever. Y'all can.
Robin, you
I
go.
would say, cool, neither am I. I didn't go to school for that. Sales isn't, I feel like sales isn't something that is taught anyway. It's a learned skill. And shoot, when I was 16, I got my first job as a server. I didn't know anything about sales. I didn't know anything about customer service. I had to learn as I went. And that's the same thing with our business. Like I said, nobody comes into this business and knows everything. Nobody comes in and knows how to be a leader. Like, it's just something that you learn as you go. And if you're not willing to be open-minded and have a growth mindset, it's going to be very, very hard within this business. So you just gotta be open and like willing to learn and fail. I failed so many times. I've made so many mistakes, you know what I'm saying, mistakes. I've had clients reach out to me because I didn't know any different, like we've been there, done that. Like, I don't want a salesman. I want somebody who's going to be authentic and just share their selves. And yeah.
What do you think, Jacqui?
I agree because, and yeah, I'm not a salesperson. I have never been a salesperson. I never will be a salesperson, but I share the things that I love. And I'm just very passionate about Scentsy and the products that we have. And so that's what I tell people. Obviously something drew you to Scentsy, whether it was a favorite scent or a cool warmer or the body, whatever it is, then lean into that and just share the thing that you love. And then that's it. The sales are going to come, right? Because again, like Robin and I said, we're both very easily influenced. Okay. So most people are anymore. Look at TikTok. Okay.
Yeah.
Do you know how many times I see people just shoving their face with food and I'm watching it and I'm like, why am I watching this?
Because
I
it's
can make some of those
Ridiculous.
recipes. They're delicious.
I make them too. I make them too.
No, but I'm talking about like is it the mukbang where they're like, and I'm like, what is happening here? People watch this.
Yeah.
It's so weird to me. But I mean, if you like something, if you love it, then it's, you just share it as what you love. And again, people are going to be influenced. That's just the way of the world anymore.
Well, and Robin said something, she may not even know what she said. Sales is a learned skill. It is something that anybody can learn to do sales better than any other job. If a nurse, you can't just go learn to be a nurse. Like, you have to go through school, you have to go through this, doctors or anybody who needs a degree or certifications. But sales is the one thing that can be learned. And when you're not the salesperson, we always talk about the used car salesman because that was something that was shown, and that's not how any of us sell. It is not
that's
about
annoying.
the advertising. And, I tell them all the time, I was like, you don't have to pick up a product and be like, you want this. And this is the reason why, like, you don't want to be an ad. There's a time and a place to be an ad. And I feel like whenever we're trying to let people know that stuff is coming out, like, that's a little bit of a better time to be more adsy, like maybe just informational, maybe not adsy, but informational of like, it's releasing this day. This is how much it is. If you want to snag one, let me know. But mostly everything else, I don't ever share prices except for when something is releasing out.
I don't either.
Like
I
I
don't do prices either.
I don't like to do prices because I'm not trying to sell it to you. I want to inform. And I think that's one reason why people say, oh, you're such a good salesperson. I'm like, I'm not. I educate myself on the products. I look at what the tips and the tricks are of how to do a warmer, or what, the wax, or how to store it. Like, you want your wax to last a
Well,
while. How do you store it?
and part of that with the prices too is the thing is yeah, a bar of wax is $6, but we've got bundle and saves. You can do
Yep.
a party, you can earn your wax for free, you can
Yep.
get that warmer for half price, right? Like, I don't care what the price is
Yeah.
because I can find a way to get it discounted for you,
Yep.
right? So the price means nothing. It's the product. And
Right.
then let's work from there.
Because that's just, I think that's when we have new teamies, they expect, like, I think they almost have us think that we're expecting them to sell for $5,000 a month. Like, just come out of the bat and like, well, I don't want to disappoint you. Like, sweetheart, your paycheck is not going to be a disappointment to me. Your
Mhm.
paycheck is what you want, because you literally can work this business as much or as little as you want to get the paycheck you want. Now, if you're doing everything you can and the paycheck isn't getting to where you're wanting it, that's the conversation we need to have about growing your team. And I honestly think that it is easier for a newbie to grow a team than it is for people who've been in for a while, because the excitement when you start your business and the excitement about learning the whatever, like, did you know that, we have cotton cleanups? Like, the first time I'd ever used a cotton cleanup, my gosh, I was recording and you can hear me gasp on the reel going like, that was fast. Like, I didn't know what to say because I knew it was fast. I read all the information, but it was experiencing it. It was experiencing it. And I think I sold like six. Oh, it's the dog. I was like, Jacqui, your door is opening. There's a ghost in your house.
No,
But
it's just
it's like,
hero escaping.
but experiencing the products. And when you get them, like the first time you get your warmer set up and you're like, this looks so cool. Or the first time that it changes seasons and we're going into Halloween and the harvest and the holiday and the Christmas. Like, you set up your living room and you're like, oh my gosh, like, this is my business. This is almost like walking into a Hallmark store or something like that, of like, wow. And I think, because I always tell them, I don't want you to be salesy. I want you to share what you love, because we can talk about our kids and share our love of them and of food. And it's easy. People take pictures of their food all the time. Like, this was so amazing. This
Right.
restaurant was a 5 stars. The server was amazing. The food came, it was prompt, blah, blah, blah. But then you tell them to take a picture of a product they have in their house. They're like, I don't know what to say. Why don't, and I'm like,
Why'd you buy that product?
why did you buy it? Yeah. Like, what was it? Because it was, a Dallas Cowboys warmer and you just had to know about the America's
No,
favorite
it's
team,
because it was
number
a
one,
Chiefs warmer.
all day
It was a
long.
Chiefs warmer.
But you know
Let's
what I'm
be
saying? Like,
honest.
because my very first, I had 2 warmers. I had bought, I think it was called something Jane. It was
That was my first warmer. Was the
it
Jane
plain
warmer.
Jane or just the Jane?
I think
Jane.
it was just Jane.
Okay. So
That was my very first warmer.
I had the Jane, and then I got a collegiate OU warmer. Those are my first 2 warmers I ever had. And I think at some point I also got a mini warmer, but I think I got that from somebody. I don't think it was something I purchased. Because when I found out about Scentsy, I had to think back of how old Caitlin was, because they came over to my apartment and Caitlin was like 2 years old. So that was like it. No, she had to be a little bit older. Well, crap. Because she was born in 98, so that would be 2000. It couldn't have been 2000. It had to have been when the company was first coming out. It honestly was probably back in 2004, 2005. It had to be. And just think if I had taken the chance then. But I remember her saying they had to call in to place their orders. They had to call, like, they had to do the phone calls for trainings. It was all just phone calls. And that's when cell phones were coming. Cell phones were out, but they weren't like
what they are today.
Yeah, they weren't cheap. I had a home phone at that time, and I'm like, I couldn't imagine sitting on a home phone all night, listening to a training. And I think it overwhelmed me. Is like, what do you mean I got to call my orders and how am I going to pay? Like, how do I do that? So I think the whole process then, and that was a reason I didn't sign up for it back then. But again, it's all about you show what you love. If you find a wax that brings you back, like we have, there was one that was called, Oh, strawberry something. It came in a Bring Back My Bar a couple of seasons ago, and it smelled like strawberry shortcake, like the strawberry shortcake little anime, like the little characters from
Oh
the
yeah.
series. The minute I smelled that, that's what I thought. Like, and that when I was talking live with my VIPers, I sold so many of that because they were like, I remember that strawberry shortcake. Like I remember having the figurines and they all smelled different depending on what their scent was. And, like if they came out with Starbright something, I would be buying the crap out of that too, because that takes me back to like my mom made a pillow for me. I mean, like that's just kind of I had My Little Ponies and Care Bears. I mean, my gosh, come up with a Care Bear, oh buddy, I would get every single one, and they could be scented. Oh, like that's what gets me excited. It's either like it takes me back to my childhood on some of these scents, or it's something that fits into my decor.
Mhm.
And I think that's really where this business kind of can come and help anybody for a side gig is because you're just sharing what you love.
Yeah.
So as we fit, oh my gosh, we are well over the hour. So today's topic was basically about our recruiting styles, our tips and tricks of recruiting, sponsoring, mentoring. We all have a little bit different style, but the biggest thing is that you have to try. You have to reach out. You have to at least have that conversation with somebody, because unless you're the Jacqui Duran, they don't just sign up just
Oh,
because they
shut
find.
up.
But I just want you guys to know that this is something that we love talking about. And again, the journeys are different. I haven't sponsored in over a year. And I'm just kind of like on a high right now. So I feel that this topic today was really great. But just remember, if you're in your down stoop, if you're in you just haven't done it in a while, you got to start practicing, start having those conversations, start figuring out an onboarding system. No matter what you try, if you think the email, like Jacqui had said, is going to work, then start with the email. If you think something else along the line of doing the jot form or the Canva link, or maybe just sending out text messages every day scheduled through your Android, because those are, then, find the system that works for you. So as we finish up here, I am Cassie Bollinger. Anybody else want to say
Jacqui
bye?
Duran.
And I'm Robin Hatfield.
And just know that if somebody hasn't told you today, we love you. Make sure that you like, share, and subscribe to our podcast so you can see us every single week. We are going to be going to after hours here shortly. So stay tuned, follow us, let us know in our comments of what you think, and we will talk to you guys later.